Hey everybody, so welcome to our first Flatware Friday segment. We are going to hopefully just have some quick videos on Fridays to talk about finding and reselling flatware for a profit. Some aspect of it that we'll just cover each week, hopefully every week, but we'll see how things pan out. But I thought we'd start today with a segment of flatware that could possibly get overlooked, and that is baby flatware or children's flatware. They call it a lot of times, the older kids flatware is called youth, is the word they use, like a youth fork, a youth knife, that type of thing. And it can be stainless, it can be silver plate. There's sterling pieces out there too, but we'll talk about some of the ones you might most often come across, and then talk about a little bit about listing it and prices and things like that. But I'm going to leave a lot of the research for the prices up to you. We'll see some stuff as we go along in the video, but you know, I always say this at the beginning of these videos too, is it's just a starting point for your own research, but also you have to decide what makes sense for you as far as a return on investment. A lot of flatware, a lot of baby flatware, you can, if you're picking it up piece by piece, it can be 25 cents, it could be 10 cents, it could be very inexpensive. And so if a piece is selling for $8, that's up to you whether you feel like that's worth your time, or if you're better off waiting till you can maybe put a little set together or something like that. It might make it more worth your time. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But again, like vintage flatware we talked about on Monday, why is there a market? Again, it's nostalgia. So a lot of times people want to buy the baby flatware that they had when they were a baby, or they see it and they're like, oh my goodness, it's a core memory unlocked, right? That they didn't remember that they had, but they just remembered it always being in their mom's flatware drawer, silverware drawer growing up. So there's nostalgia. A lot of parents using that nostalgia now want to use the same flatware for their own children and their own babies. And a lot of times people want to give these as gifts, maybe within the family, like, oh, your father, or your husband used this, so here's a baby gift for your baby, that kind of thing. So let's go over to the computer real quick. We'll just look at some things on the computer. A lot of the pictures, we're going to use the replacements website quite a bit because the pictures are really clear on there. We'll look a little bit at eBay listings and things like that. And then we'll come back to the camera, and we'll talk a little bit about the stash that I have, because I have a stash that I pulled out, and we'll take a look at what I've got, and then we'll just kind of talk about maybe how I'm going to list it or how I'm going to tackle the pieces that I've got. We're going to start out with an Oneida pattern. I find that a lot of the flatware, baby flatware and youth flatware that I find for in stainless is by Oneida. So most of their popular patterns also have youth and baby pieces as well that go with those popular patterns. But they also had a pattern that's called Toddle Time. And the pieces are actually marked on there, Toddle Time. So that makes that easy, right? And so this pattern is only baby, infant, or baby pieces. And it's very similar to Chateau. So sometimes in the listings, you'll see people put both names, but there are differences in the pattern. So it's not Chateau, it's Toddle Time, and it should say that on there. Okay, so I thought I could show you on here some of the pieces that you'll come across. I think it's clearer down here. So we have a 3-piece baby set. Now Toddle Time also came with one with a long baby spoon with a rubber tip, but they also had a version that's just all stainless. So as you can see, the baby set usually has the long-handled baby feeding spoon, and then as the baby can kind of maybe handle things themselves, there's this short little spoon and a short little fork. And then they have what are called progress sets that, let's see, we'll just have to go back up for that. Okay, they have a youth set. a knife, a fork, and a spoon that are just slightly smaller than a grown-up size. So those are some of the pieces that you might come across. So that's Toddle time. Like I said, the pieces are marked right on the back. And you can see, like, you know, replacements prices. Let's go over to eBay, because replacements prices are just kind of a guideline. They give me an idea when I look at them to see what pieces are fairly desirable. But those are not the prices that we're going to get on eBay. But if we look over at eBay, Toddle Time, Oneida Toddle Time stainless flatware, there's one of those with the rubber tip. Here's a set of for $18, like new old stock from the 70s. Someone had 8 pieces of it, but they ran an auction. 2 of the long-handled spoons for $10. So you can kind of get an idea. $16.87, well, free shipping. And here's one of those progress sets that I was talking about, that it included everything the baby or child was going to need, and that set sold for $25 pretty much. So as you can see, just kind of getting an idea of prices, not like super high numbers, but Toddle Time is something you'll probably come across if you start looking for baby flatware. Now the next one is Oneida Chateau. I was just going to show you, this is the replacements.com for Chateau. There are slight differences in the pattern. Toddle Time has 2 little indents. Chateau only has 1, but they're very, very similar. And sometimes the smaller handles make it a little harder to figure out. But like I said, the Toddle Time says it right on the back. Whereas I think Chateau is an Oneida craft, is what it'll say. So again, 3-piece baby set. And I was scrolling down. Oh, one thing I wanted to point out, and I think you can see it kind of clearly in here. Here's another progress set. So here's a demi-tasse spoon. Now that's just something I wanted you to keep in mind, that there are some smaller spoons that can end up looking like the youth spoon, right? But the difference is the demi-tasse spoon, I looked this up, the demi-tasse spoon for coffee and espresso and things like that is 4 1/4 inches. But if we scrolled back up and found the youth spoon, it was up here. Youth, they call it a youth 5 o'clock spoon. That one was 5 1/8 inch. Okay, so that's where replacements will come in handy. If you find any little kind of spoon like this, you can double check whether you have a demi-tasse spoon or if you have an actual youth child spoon. Now, you're not going to get it confused like with the baby one that's even smaller, because the shape of this part is more, it's wide and flat, almost looks more like a sugar spoon or something like that, but it's nice and little. Okay, so just wanted to point that out too. There was also, I think, in here that I saw earlier, a curved handle, because I don't think they have it available, but I saw it right here. So you might come across these as well in silver plate or in stainless curved handle baby spoons in the different patterns. So there's lots of little different pieces that can be associated with baby flatware. So the next, I think we were going to I had a tab real quick to show the sales on eBay for Oneida Chateau. And this is just one example. So you could probably go into any of the kind of the more popular Oneida patterns, and there's going to be some baby pieces, like I said, that go with it. But I'm just using this one as an example because I would say I come across Toddle Time probably the most. Chateau probably is a close second as far as how often I come across those patterns in baby flatware. So here's an idea too, is someone put 6 Oneida Chateau infant feeding spoons together, Now, I have always in the past kind of thought about just, having the set of three, right? The fork and the fork and the spoon, the two spoons, or if it's a youth set, putting that set together. But to me, that's totally makes sense too. I have to think about that one. As you just kind of pick up pieces here and there, you might end up with multiples. Like, for example, I do, right? I've got 5 of like what this person has 6. And a person, they don't want to maybe just have one spoon that has to get, washed between every meal. It might get thrown in the dishwasher or something like that. But if you have like a selection of baby spoons you can choose from, or you have more than one baby, you might have multiple kids who are into eating with that. Okay, so here's some more. People kind of lotted some of the pieces up for like a little bit of a higher price. So that's also an option that you can keep in mind. Okay, so the next little category is one that it's easy to stand out, right? It's going to be a lot easier to spot, and that is different character flatware, like Peter Rabbit or Mickey Mouse or different, cartoon characters or characters like that in like a 3D handle. So what I was going to show you is Oneida did a lot of those. And if you go to the replacements website and you just go to Oneida, they have their filter preset. It defaults to most popular. So as you can see, chatelaine is like their most popular, most requested, purchased Oneida pattern, which I think I do have a baby spoon in there, but I haven't had a chance to look up what it might be worth. But anyway, so we've got chatelaine, we've got Brahms, etc., etc. Now Peter Rabbit is right up there, and then look, Cubby Bear is also right up there. And so if you also go down, there's a Humpty Dumpty, and these aren't saying that these are the top like priced patterns that Oneida makes. Yeah, they don't filter by that. It's just the most popular. So the ones that people are looking for the most. Okay, we have a Care Bear. And this is just all on the first page. We have Noah's Ark and Doughboy. So this very first page of, I don't even know how many pages of Oneida patterns there are. We'll see it in a minute. Like 26 pages. So in that first page, there's quite a few kind of sought after character patterns. So what you can do is, if you come across any of these, or if you're curious, you can, take a look at Cubby Bear on eBay and sort the solds. Peter Rabbit, I know in the past, let's see, I've sold on Etsy, I sold the Peter Rabbit baby set with the long-handled spoon, and the shorter spoon, and the fork for $30. But let's take a quick look. Let me see. Nope. Yeah, I didn't do any of that research for you guys because I am trying to keep this video like less than an hour. I'm trying to kind of move things along pretty quickly. So just keep that in mind. Oneida made a lot of these characters. Just, if you spot it, maybe look it up, but don't overpay, for it just because you're excited you found it. Most of the pieces I have found have just been thrown in like the flatware bin, and they're just there, right? I just kind of pick them up at the same prices as other flatware. But I did want to show you, there is another one to keep in mind. These are Disney. I've sold quite a few of these pieces. The company that makes them is Bonnie, and they're basically Bonnie, Walt Disney. So if we go back to Bonnie as a company on replacements, they have Disney, and then they have these two other just kind of random patterns. But the Disney ones I've come across fairly often, and I sold some way back when, just kind of average price, and then something caught my eye one time about a selling price for these for these Bonnie Walt Disney pieces, and I couldn't believe, like, prices seem to have gone up. So at that point I did end up selling some for a little bit higher. So if you look, here's like a curved bowl spoon. That's another style that you might come across. But we have like this knife with Mickey on it. Replacements has it for $49.99. Pluto on a knife, $59.99. Mickey on a fork, $40. Right? So again, these aren't going to be eBay prices, but it just gives you an idea of how much more the value is on these than just even on some of those Oneida or other character pieces. So just kind of fun to keep that in mind. These, as you go further down, they're either not available or they're imperfect. So it could be that the black accent is faded or something like that in these pieces, that they're not perfect. And then there's a whole bunch of them here that are just not, that are out of stock on replacements. But check this out. I almost fell over. I went to Walt Disney Bonnie and I went to Solds and I sorted from highest to lowest. And check this out. Extremely rare Bonnie Minnie Mouse Youth Knife, $100 for one of the knife, right? Usually the knife is like, who cares? Oh my goodness. But Minnie Mouse, like, it's got to be Minnie Mouse. I guess those just aren't as popular, you know, maybe not as many sold or made or whatever, but $100. And then someone just kind of lotted up a bunch. There's Donald, Pluto, and Mickey for $68.75. 4 pieces for somewhere less than $58. $50 for that. You could see some offers were taken on these. But 2 pieces for $39, and those look kind of faded to me. $40 for those. There's some new old stock. That's fun, right? So anyway, just keep your eyes open for the Walt Disney by Bonnie, and all the information's on the back of the pieces. Stainless, Bonnie, Walt Disney Productions, Japan, all that kind of stuff. So you never know what kind of rare piece you might come across. And some of these look like it might even be worth listing by themselves, right? They wouldn't necessarily be, you wouldn't have to lot them up, but you might be able to do 1 or 2 pieces for a fairly decent price. Okay, so then another pattern company like that is Danera. They do some Peanuts, like Snoopy, maybe just Snoopy, maybe not all the Peanuts characters, and they did a Smurf one. So I just had kind of noticed this because I do have this Snoopy fork in my stash. They're asking $15.99, so it would be less than that on eBay, maybe $8 or $9 for the one fork. Okay, and then so Danera is another one, but again, just kind of look for those characters. Just that's where probably nostalgia is going to hit the most, and people are going to remember those pieces that they had from when they were kids the most. So if we just go to eBay, I just did a generic baby flatware stainless search, and I just put it on Solds just to kind of get an idea of other brands and other things that are out there to keep in mind. So here's some of the Peter Rabbit. Here's some, I have found some pieces just made in Germany, like not brands that we would be familiar with, but just kind of like set up as gifts most likely. Originally, here's some more Peter Rabbit. You can see someone had the whole set of 6 that sold for $100, but it was new in its packaging. Tommy Tippy is another name. This was Winnie the Pooh. Here's some Play School, new in the package, sold for $30. Community by Oneida Stainless. They didn't even give, I don't think, the pattern name on there. But let's see. Lovely eBay search. We're trying to figure this out because it's showing us a watch. So let's see if highest. No, it's going to show us a whole bunch of other things that are not flatware, but maybe if we go, I would be looking in collectibles or in single flatware pieces if you want to do some research on this. Okay, So it just kind of gives you, here's a teddy bear one by WMF and Cromargan. It's got a food pusher. That's another piece that you might come across. Some more Oneida. There's the Disney Oneida new in box. Batman. That's kind of cool. Because there are plastic handled ones, maybe a little bit more recently with characters on them, but a lot of times those have been ruined, by the dishwasher. But that was kind of cool to find that in its original piece, original box like this. I think that's just like a plastic handle, but we'll see. Okay, so that is something to keep in mind. The character, different brands. I saw some mid-century ones, that were what was the company? I can't remember. It's not coming up at the moment. But just kind of like along the lines of WMF or one of those Dansk or whatever, that was a really it almost Laufer. That's what it was. I love Laufer. So anyway, there was a set of baby flatware that would be awesome to come across as well. But as you can see, there are also plenty of lower prices. So it's either people are undervaluing or there's just certain ones that are not as worth it. These are just kind of two no-name ones. Stainless steel with the rubber tips, $5, right? But they ran an auction. So again, that's up to you how you want to do your listings. Now you can also find, I did a search for baby flatware silver plate. And again, you could change the word baby to youth and probably come up, or put children's or something like that, and come up with some other brands and other information that you can learn about. Polo Bear, there's some Polo Bear by Ralph Lauren. Silver plate, $24.99. Some more Oneida Community. So again, a lot of the popular silver plated brands that, people got as wedding gifts or anything back in the day, there was also baby flatware that would go with it. So here's some SpaghettiOs, silver plated flatware. Here's another one of those curved handle ones. Sold for $10, and it looked like it was monogrammed with a K. So just different. First Love. I actually do have that in a baby spoon, but just kind of the names you hear if you know anything about silver plated flatware. Daffodil is a really popular brand. I probably would have gone a little higher than $6.50, but that's just me. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear any of these noises, but my family's being kind of loud upstairs today. Okay. Another little First Love silver plate for $8. So you get the idea. A lot of those companies will end up having a baby version as well. And oh, that's right, so if you go over to collectibles, what you might end up seeing also, it's not showing me what I want to see. What I did see, what I was coming across before, was people were lotting up quite a bit. So they might have had, now I'm trying to recreate my results here and it's not coming up. But what people did is they maybe did like a bunch of silver plated little long handled baby spoons, and they had like 66 of them and they sold them for $100. So I don't know how practical that is unless you have a source where you're coming across these, or if all of a sudden you realize you have more than you expected. And a lot people are making jewelry, they're doing different things with them, so a lot of times there's a market for multiple pieces. Then one last fun one I'm going to end with as far as researching here on the computer is Bakelite handled flatware. I have a new goal now that I've seen these 1940s Napier Bakelite training silverware. That's my new goal. That's on my bucket list now, as I want to find this Napier flatware, but a lot of super cute Bakelite handled flatware for kids. Now I did have a little spoon or fork, kind of like what you see like right here. And I looked through my Bakelite bin and I didn't come across it. So I might even have just kind of stashed it someplace, or I sold it already. I don't remember. But I wanted to show you if I can find an example. Here we go. This is super cute. My husband's grandmother has one of these from when like his dad was little, and she just has it in her silverware drawer. And I've never told her that I'm kind of hankering after it. I've never asked her if I could have it, but it's just still kind of a memento that she keeps. But anyway, it's just a super cute little Scotty dog Bakelite handled kids spoon, and it's just kind of fun. You know, they're not worth a ton, but it's just kind of fun to look at. So anyway, okay, so let's go back and let me show you my stash real quick and what I've got at the moment and what I plan to do with them. Okay, so like I said, probably what I have found the most is Toddle time. So I have like in my stash this little collection of, like, I have 3 of the little tiny baby spoons. I've got a couple of knives, youth forks, and a youth spoon. Anyway, like I said before, I've sold, I don't know if I said this before, but anyway, I did look in my notes and I had like a set of 3. The baby set sold for like $20. Okay, that's Chateau, never mind. Toddle time, I haven't researched my past sales on that one yet. But I saw some of these ideas of having like multiple pieces lotted up into one. And since Toddle time is so common, I'm thinking I might approach it that way for this particular set. I'm going to just double check if I can make like a set of 3 of like the youth pieces or something like that, and then lot up the rest of it together. I might do something, or I'll just do the whole thing together and just see if somebody just wants a nice collection of baby flatware for their kid. But again, I mentioned the Chateau that I have. I also have a few these kinds of spoons and some of the forks, and I think I have 1 knife. So again, Chateau, I might just bundle these up too. I'm not sure. I might do 1 baby set with the fork and the short spoon and the long handled, or like I said before, I could just do all of the 5 together. Something like that. In any case, I don't think I'm not going to do these individually. I'll probably at least break it into a couple different little lots is what I think I'm going to do with those. Now, I also have some other random pieces that I'll have to figure out, like piece by piece, whether they're worth listing or not, or if I just want to continue adding, making a larger lot of just the stainless baby flatware and maybe list like flower ones together or things like that. So I'm going to end up deciding on that. One I didn't really talk about too much was Gerber. A lot of times you'll see the spoons with the Gerber baby. There are silver plated ones as well that I saw some listings that kind of, if you sold a few of them together, they weren't bad. Now, one of them is from 1977 and it has the person's name on it. One is blank, I think. And then one just says Gerber 1928 to 1993. So that's kind of a commemoration one. Those will probably just end up getting put into a larger lot. I did notice that with Gerber, the better selling ones were the long handled baby spoons, not so much these little kid spoons. Okay. Now, like I said, I've got some silver plate. Like this one's Coronation. It's kind of a well-known, kind of common silver plate brand. By Community, I have the First Love little baby spoon. And these are marked right on there. I think it's called Reflection, that little set. So I might do the little sets, this set and this set. I might do that. It's not going to be super high money. But then I've just got a couple other random little silver plates. So the other option is to just make a lot. Still have more decisions to make, but I do have some fun stuff. I do have a food pusher. This one's stainless, but it's made in Denmark, and it has, it's kind of like character flatware. I've sold stuff like this before, but they're maybe not well-known characters, or like this one's Denmark, so this could be a story because it looks like it's a rabbit and a hedgehog, or a porcupine and a hare. You know, it's not a tortoise and a hare, so just kind of an interesting little thing. A food pusher, I'm gonna list that by itself. This, if I do a silver plated lot, I might throw that in there. It's just kind of got that interesting, maybe easy grip handle. I don't see any markings, but maybe once I polish it up, then maybe something will reveal itself. So here's another stainless one that just has an elephant on it. It's super cute, like a stomping elephant. That one I think was Germany, I believe. Unless I've got these backwards. The other one might be Germany and this one's Denmark. That could be right. I can't see. This is a cute little one, a silver plated one as well. And I forgot to look at who makes that. Tudor plate, Oneida Community. But it has a little squirrel on it. So either it's Beatrix Potter or something like that. So that one I'm going to research a little bit more, polish it up, and probably list that one by itself. And then I'm assuming this is a baby thing. It's like a gold plated. It has a little curved handle. So I don't know. It could be some little serving type thing as well. Like we said before, I'm not that worried about it. Now, as I said, I have a little Snoopy fork. I have 2 Cubby Bear spoons. I'll probably just put those together. That's probably not going to be much more than $10 for those 2 together. But then I had a Donald Duck, not Minnie Mouse, not a $100 knife, but it's Donald Duck. That one's probably like $9, $9 to $10 or something like that. For that one, which I might list by itself, I'm not sure. Or I'll put it, I haven't decided yet. Then for my character flatware, I've sold most of it that I've come across lately, but I do have knives. I seem to like kind of pick up knives. So what I was thinking I might do is make a variation listing for this one. And that could be done honestly for some of the other ones if you just want to make a variation listing. For me, it depends on how much each one is worth individually. If I really think someone's going to end up buying like one for $4, if it's only worth like $4, then I don't think I'll do that. And maybe I would just hold on to them until I found other pieces in that same pattern. So I've got Humpty Dumpty. I've got 2 Honey Nut Cheerios ones, I think. No, just one. I have a Paddington. I have 2 Peter Rabbits, and I have 1 Care Bear. So anyway, there's kind of an interesting little assortment of it. So some of those might be worth doing. If I can at least list them for $9 or so, then maybe I'll just make the variation listing and people can pick which knife it is that they need. And I'm pretty sure some of these are marked Oneida. I'm pretty sure these are all Oneida. So that kind of makes the listing make a little bit more sense as well, that I'm doing like an Oneida youth knife listing, and they can choose which one it is that they want. So anyway, that's my little stash. I had this one fun little piece. It's silver plated. It's called Tippy Taster, and I think it was Beech Nut who gave these away. Anyway, I need to polish that one up, but I think I looked this up and I can maybe get like $8 or $9 for that one if I want to do that. Or it can just go in the silver plate lot to add interest. So I said I was going to do all this like, hey, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And then I just gave you a bunch of like, oh, I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this. And that's the story of flatware. You kind of just have to do what you think makes sense. And at the moment, look at what's available, look at what has been selling, and kind of see, maybe try something new. And anyway, so my plan is to, when I do these flatware videos on Fridays, my plan is to, I usually will probably pull the pieces out that I have that kind of go along with whatever I'm talking about. And then like that day and that weekend, I'm going to work on trying to get as much of those things listed as possible. And then I can report back to you on the following Flatware Friday what I got listed, if anything has sold or anything like that. So let me know what you think about that plan, and let me know, have you sold children's flatware before? Have you thought about selling it? Any amazing scores or anything that you have sold in the past, please share that in the comments below. And we will see you next week for other videos. And I have plans for a few more Flatware Fridays in my head already, but if you do have any other ideas, go ahead and pop those in the comments below. Okay, hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later.